What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Miguel. You're watching Miguel EDC, the channel where we talk everything EDC gear. Here today we're taking a look at the Bade modern designs. This is their Titan model right here, and this has been pretty interesting to say the least. I got a chance to unbox this guy here in the channel after some time. If you haven't seen the unboxing, you can check it out after this video. I got this knife as part of Lefty EDC's knife pass around, so I've got a chance to check it out here for quite some time, and I'm just about ready to sort of share with you all of the feedback that I have on this little guy, little premium EDC folder here, if you will. This knife and every other knife that you see in this video will be linked down below in the description, so if you want to check out more details, you are more than welcome to do so. That being said, let's go ahead and get things started here. Of course, first things first, with a quick measurement on this bad boy. It's gonna be about 6 inches, right? Maybe, actually no, under 6 inches, more like 5.8, 5.85 overall length. The blade is not that long, as you can see, so 2 1/4 inches on the blade, and the cutting length is going to be 2 1/4 as well. Right, very interesting. Handle is going to be around 3 and very close to 3.5, but more like 3.55 or so. So a quick size comparison here with some of the usual knives in the channel. Okay, check this one out. Divo NIP right there, hanging on. Right, check out the difference here is out, you know, astonishing difference right there with the Kansept Cosmos. So yeah, this will definitely be in the small size of knife category. So let's just do the usual. Here's the PM2. There's your Para 30 right there. So obviously shorter than both of those, right? Maybe if you own one of these, this sort of obviously gives you an idea. Demko AD 20.5 in the shark's foot blade and the slicer. Shark Cub, smaller brother, right? All of these look like huge knives next to this tiny guy, to say the least. Rock Model 1 and Rock Model 2. CJRB Pyrite and the Vosteed Raccoon. And there you have it, right? So of course it is, as you can see, no secret, a small factor EDC knife. And as such, I mean, I've seen a lot of smaller EDC knives getting pretty popular here over the last couple of years. So small EDCs are in. I see them catching a lot of popularity. In a lot of cases, depending on where you carry it in your local laws, a lot of people carry them as primary, and other people carry it as a secondary as well. So materials on this one, we have first to the blade, we have N390 going on the blade here. We have a dual ground tanto with a mean bell satin finish, which looks really good. I personally dig it a lot. Love this bell satin finish. You know me, bell satin finishes is one of my favorite finishes on a blade. For now, maybe that may change in the future, but right now I'm really digging bell satin finishes. It is a flat grind on both grounds, both here and towards the front. It does have that tanto going on here with a little bit of a tip, the main tip, and then this other tip down here, which means for utility cuts and draw cuts, spoiler alert, it's gonna be pretty good, right? You don't have to bend your wrist at an unnatural angle to get cuts. You could just use that tanto tip right there to get utility cuts and slices and draw cuts and stuff like that going on with that, which is good. At the same time, you also have a flat surface here as well. I mean, it's not going to be the largest cutting geometry here, but you know, for small package opening, you know, small tasks, sharpening a pencil, cutting a strap, opening packages, like cutting straps, like in between, you know, getting really good control of the blade right here. This is really good at that, and we'll talk more about the knife and then, you know, the uses for it and stuff like that throughout the video. But going back to now the handles, we have titanium handles. Check it out, they are nice. So it's like a bead blasted titanium all around with some chamfering or contouring going on all around as well, which is good. We have this little insert right here, which is pretty neat. Kind of gives it a little bit of personality. It's more of like a titanium, anodized titanium or flame titanium or something like that, which makes it look really good. Yeah, I think there are other different types of colors or inserts available for it as well. We got a captive pivot here with the screw head on the other side. This one is a frame lock, as you can see here. And as far as deployment options, we have the flipper deployment, which is pretty solid, right? Nice and accessible flipper tab right there with quite a good amount of jimping all around. So you are guaranteed to fire it open every single time, even if you try to fill it. Like here I am trying to fill it. It's almost impossible to fail it. You got the thumb studs right there, which also look really good. The only maybe difficult one for me was the reverse flick. Right, that one was a little bit difficult. I guess you could do it with the meat of your middle finger right there, but I tried it a couple of times. It's a little bit, the D10 is a little bit too stiff for my liking. A lot of people prefer a very stiff D10 like this. I know Kevin is one of them that really enjoys a very stiff D10. I like my D10 maybe a tad bit softer than that, so the reverse flick would be maybe a little bit easier, because yeah, I sort of beat up my index finger there a bit trying to get this guy Spidey flick. So I would mainly rely on the flipper tab right there and the thumb deployment. As far as my deployment methods, check out the backspacer here. It's nice and matching with the insert on the knife handle as well. It has a pretty cool lanyard solution in the back there if you're into lanyards. Right, got a lanyard post or pin going on back there. And what's interesting about this one too is you have the blade sticks in completely into the handle, which is pretty elegant, right? A lot of people are into that, very similar to that Kansept Cosmos design that we looked at in the channel as well, right? Knives are able to completely tuck away their blade into the handle, look really elegant and streamlined for some reason, as compared to other knives where a significant portion of the blade sticks out. And if you ask me, I love them both, right? I love designs where, you know, blades tuck in completely. I like designs where blades are nice and exposed, right? Like the Demko AD 20.5 is one of my all-time favorite knives, right? And you can see how much of the blade is actually sticking out on that. Let's do some weight check on this one. We have some milling going on right there. You can see it on that side. You can see some more on the other side right there. Take a look there for yourself. Yeah, quite a little bit of milling going on. And so that helps with the weight department. You know, it's not really heavy at all. I want to say maybe I'll be surprised if it's over 3 ounces. Well, yeah, better be. Yes, an ounce, Miguel, ounce higher than 3 ounces. How about that? 4.2 ounces. So I need to calibrate my hand scale a little bit. 4.2 ounces. So yeah, it's definitely got some, you know, some weight to it, which is good. You know, it's small, but it still gives you that premium knife sort of feel to it, right? The titanium there, even though it's milled, gives you a good amount of weight. Now let's talk ergonomics for a second. So the handle does have this portion back here which sort of drops a bit and then drops even more. So that's perfect for your palm right there. You also have the big curvature right here, which by the way gives you plenty of access to that lock bar right there, which is good. That lock bar has a steel insert for steel on steel contact, which is longevity better than titanium on steel contact. And yes, a pretty pronounced fender there, if you would. You know, half circle going on. So if you do the hammer grip, if you would, you know, your pinky's sort of out in the dark right here, right? But that is not how this knife was designed. This knife was designed for you to use, fully use this very, very good finger choil right here in the front. So when you forward choke on this bad boy, boom, you are locked in. You'll notice my finger, sort of middle finger, drops a little bit lower than the rest of the other fingers. And that just means that this knife is loaded, right? It is not going anywhere. If you walk into the Vaseline factory, like Nick Shavas would say, you'll be good with this one. You'll be all right. It's not going anywhere. So ergonomically, it feels great. Pocket clip, right? As interesting and weird as it looks, has a little bit of a thinner section. It gets thicker here, right? Sort of has a bunch of hexagonal shapes all around, nice and chamfered. This thing is ergonomically really, really great in the hand. You barely feel like, if you ask me, it feels like there's almost no pocket clip at all whatsoever, because I can barely feel it at all, right? So that's how good that pocket clip is. It is not reversible, so I did notice that, but it does carry this little guy significantly deep in the pocket, about that much of the knife might show right here, out of your pocket, if anything, right? Take a look there. It does go in and out of the pocket pretty good, right? On this one, the ratios are off, but that's only because of how tiny this knife is. It's about 75% of the entire handle, 65 to 70%, I would say. And yeah, other than that, it works really, really good. You know, just maybe lefties out there. I'm not sure if they make a lefty version, right, for that reversible option there to be available. But other than that, yeah, it carries really good. It actually feels really comfortable in the hand. Let's do a blade stock thickness on this bad boy. Let's see what we have. We do have a significantly chunky blade here. We'll start with that. 0.16. So 0.16 on the blade there. Blade thickness. It does have that full It does have a flat grind, but it's not a full flat grind. So that's something to keep in mind there. Is it slicey? Yes, it is certainly very, very slicey. On the handle here, let's see what we have. 0.52, so a little bit above that 0.5 or 50, half an inch ratio that I see most knives in. Yeah, 0.52. And yeah, you know, the thing about, you know, smaller knives is they are basically doing a great job, because you can, you know, take the Divo NIP here for a second. You know, if you try to do the standard grip, yeah, some fingers are going to be left out in the dark, but if you forward choke, boom, all of a sudden you can do just about anything you would do with a bigger knife, but you have a lot more control. Yes, the cutting geometry or length is going to be a little bit shorter, but still, right, you can get very controlled cuts and stuff like that going on. And that's why I love my Divo NIP so much. And so the same principle applies here. It's a stubby little guy here, but you can forward choke, right, get really good control of the blade. Opening packages with this thing, all you have to do is sink this corner right into the tape or what have you, or you can use the little Tanto little tip right there and bam, just cut away your Amazon packages, cardboard, whatever. That feels really good. Now, am I going to tell you that, you know, this is the best knife to cut cardboard for prolonged periods of time? Probably not. Is it going to be the best survival knife for camping and bushcrafting all in one? Probably not. I feel like people, for the most part, who, you know, get into knives like this, they like the unique factor, right? Something different, something out of the ordinary. They have already surpassed or graduated from, hey, I already have a handful of utilitarian knives that get all my EDC needs done, and they excel at that because that's what they were designed with in mind. But, you know, what about carrying something different, something unique, right? Also find out this, right? Well, at this point of the blade being about right there, like you almost have, almost turns into like almost like half a circle right there, which is pretty neat. Just thought that was cool. And yeah, that's what this guy's going for, right? They're not trying to design the most utilitarian, ergonomic, do-it-all type of knife, but instead something unique, something different, right? With some attitude, with some charisma to it, right? And for people who have, again, graduated in their EDC journey from trying to find the best knife that does it all, and they're now moving into a more unique sort of knife, you know, more so, you know, let me carry something different, if you would. The fact that this one carries pretty much anywhere, it's not very long. It could be the one premium knife, depending on the occasion, that you could carry. Is anybody going to be intimidated with the smallish blade length you got going on here? Probably not. Around the office, right? Or if you work around co-workers, or I want to say maybe you go into the office or things like that, you still want to have a blade, but you don't want it to be intimidating for people, or even if your family or friends still haven't caught on to the idea as to why EDCing a knife is that useful. Yeah, I mean, this one here, it's not going to be intimidating at all from that aspect. I did notice a little bit of jimping right there on the spine, which is good. It certainly helps. I noticed that thumb studs are significantly pushed back, so they're not going to be in the path of the cutting per se. The plunge grind is somewhere around here if I follow the shadow, so you should be able to get some good sharpenings out of this one without getting a smile until, you know, much later on, if anything. And the other thing I noticed too is there's a little bit of a cutout on both sides, on both scales, on both sides there. So when you go about flipping the knife, your finger, your index finger, has somewhere to land on, right? Like that, which that's pretty neat as well, right? So check that out. That's attention to detail right there. Let's do a hardware check on this one before I forget. Here we go. I'm looking at some T8s and some T6s. Again, my tools are highly recommendable, linked down below, part of the Strabito tool set. And T8 in the pivot, yes. Is it captive? Yes. All right, so T8, there we go, that's the W. The area where you might want to, let's see, T6, right? Yeah, T6 hardware all around, aside from the pivot. So you guys know my stance on the whole T6 versus T8, right? Personally, myself, I would have preferred T8, you know, especially on a premium knife like this. I feel like they could have, you know, there's plenty of room to have made that a T8. All of these could have been T8 and so on. So, you know, this day and age, 2024, should be no reason why companies do T6 on premium knives. That should hopefully at some point becomes the standard, the status quo, is of how much the community as a whole appreciates T8s over T6. So small nitpick right there, if anything, alongside with the reversible pocket clip. That was my other nitpick for the lefties out there. We're going to conduct a very scientific paper cutting method here. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to get some slices with this first edge right here. Well, it will cut, ladies and gentlemen. All right, to no one's surprise, it certainly cuts. What about this other blade or other edge here? All right, let me see if I can use that. Okay, that one catches a bit. I mean, the slice. I mean, it does cut. It's just that you're slicing it or sliding the blade across the paper in a little bit of an awkward way. Check out the swirl on that one. So yes, we know it's gonna do paper all day, every day. It does get pretty thick here towards the top of the blade, but it is a full flat grind. So let's see how it does with some cardboard. Let's see, the biggest challenge here again is making sure I make the best use of that small little cutting path that I have. So yeah, as you can see, I slid off of the cut. It will cut, there's absolutely no doubt about that. It's just that you have to manage, you know, make sure you don't sink this corner or taper off completely. But yes, it will cut very, very well. Probably not the best use, right, as a cardboard cutter, because you probably want something with a little bit of a longer cutting length for that, but it will cut, right? I mean, it does look pretty clean, right? The design, as a righty, as a right-handed individual, I appreciate the clean design, right, myself. So maybe doing a reverse clip with a filler tab might not have looked as aesthetically pleasing, you know, so maybe they make a left version or a lefty version or something like that, again, since this is a premium knife. So other than that, the only other nitpick that I have, and this is again a little bit more personal preference, personal taste, would be the stress relief cutout. A lot of companies these days are doing them on the inside, and it feels like you can still accomplish what you want to accomplish by making the cutouts on the inside. Personally prefer on the inside versus exposed like that. It doesn't affect the pocket clip at all, because the pocket clip tip is way up here, this is way back here, so not a biggie, right? None of these things are affecting the functionality and performance of the knife, right? Just small little nitpick items here and there, but other than that, you know, I had a good time carrying this knife. It's definitely a unique experience. It makes I mean, I think it's, yeah, I tried it on my fifth pocket in the jeans, and it fits there pretty good, right? It's not big enough where it might not fit, and it's just about wide enough. Had it been any wider than this, then maybe I would have had an issue or something with it not fitting in that fifth pocket, but it felt right at home, right in there. It is M390. I didn't find any information on their website about the heat treatment for the M390, but I'm gonna go with, you know, they should be doing a pretty good job. It is OEM by Kubi, so I believe Kubi is the OEM on this based on what I found. And yeah, other than that, the price on this is $229, so it is a little, it is above the $200 mark. The premium materials are there, right? You got the M390, right? Unique blade, bell satin finish, dual ground, tanto, and you have the titanium going on, right? No liners on this one. It is milled, but no steel liners on the inside, so you know, solid titanium. And you have the nice little personality, little accents right here towards the pivot, which is good. Again, I believe those are offered in other options too, other color options. And yeah, the action, the lockup on this thing is pretty good. No up and down, no side to side, blade play, lock rock, nothing like that, which is good. And it performs. It definitely performs. It looks stubby, chunky, stubby little guy, but it definitely gets work done. And yeah, I had a good time cutting with it, right? Performing my EDC task. A lot of times for EDC purposes, unless you're out on the field doing crazy stuff, right? For most people who are at home or office setting, and you're just doing, you know, some light cardboard cutting or opening packages here and there. I mean, this might be, right, in a lot of cases, more than enough blade. So an argument could be made for that, but that's for you to decide, of course. You know, how long of a blade do you like? Are you a fan of smaller blades? Let me know. As a matter of fact, I'm curious to kind of get a general consensus on the community, right? How do you guys like smaller EDC knives? By the way, check out the alignment right there. It's pretty smack in the middle. All right, you guys be the judge. And it is on ball bearings, by the way. Again, good action on this one, very robust, looks pretty good. If it's the kind of knife you're looking for, right, if you're looking to scratch that small EDC unique design factor, if you like a stubby little guy right here, right, with the very interesting design, and you're looking to scratch that itch, then yes, this will be the knife for you. It really comes down to your preference. I will say this is not my typical style of knife, right? The typical style of knife I will go for, per se. If I was gonna do small little EDC factor knife, the Divo NIP already does a pretty good job with that. I'm also personally not a huge fan of Tantos myself, but you may be. in your specific situation. So that, you know, take my opinion obviously with a grain of salt, because you are your own individual, right? By the way, the Divo NIP managed to do T6 hardware, being a smaller frame, so no excuses for companies not doing T8s, but that's that, right? Enough nitpicking, right? You guys make up your own decision on this. $229. I will be linking it in the description. I don't believe I have an affiliate link for this one, but all the other knife you did see in the video, I do have affiliate links for. It does help out the channel when you buy a knife through those links, but that is entirely up to you and at zero extra cost. But that's been it, guys. The Bade Modern Designs, you know, debut here on the channel. Haven't really checked out this brand all that much. I'm not sure if they have other models. Would love to sort of experiment what the rest of their lineup looks like. Perhaps if they have bigger models, right, I would love to get a chance to check those out as well. But shout out to Lefty EDC for the opportunity to borrow this one for this video. Really grateful for that. And guys, if you made it to the very end, you guys are the real MVPs, right? Appreciate you guys checking out the video all the way through. Go ahead and smash that like button already. Like, you're already here, might as well. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and it does help out the video get pushed with the YouTube algorithm. Also, go ahead and subscribe. I promise you'll be worth coming back for more. I make knife content like this on an ongoing basis, and you would not want to miss out. Chances are the review for the Bridgeport 1827 FL is available. If that's the case, I'm going to put a video card right here for you guys to check that one next. Guys, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you all. Really appreciate all your love and support, and I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.